Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. I hope everyone's happy, safe, and well on this lovely Friday afternoon. I think it's afternoon. I wanted to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. Sorry, it's been a week since we had an edition, but lots of things going on, but good stuff. Get our cadence back. And starting off with our great friend, Carlos Dunlap, who's the Vice President of Loyalty Solutions for Clarus Commerce. How are you, Carlos?
I'm great, Mark. I'm doing real good. Thank you. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. For
Good.
those who may be new, tuning in for the first time, Loyalty Live is a series where we talk to the leaders in customer channel and brand loyalty about the technology trends and best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences and, most importantly, customer loyalty. So we are very privileged to have Carlos, who's an expert in the industry, been around for a long time, known him for quite a while. Carlos, how are you today again?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm pretty excited. This has been a really good week in terms of just how things are progressing for us at Clarus. I can't get into some of the details of it, but let's just say that things are finishing strong in 2020 and making for a what should be a fantastic 2021. And I hope that we serve a lot of retailers in our business, and we hope the same for them as well, for the retail industry. I'm sure they could use a boost and some hope and optimism going through this holiday season and into 21.
Absolutely. First question we have for you today is, why is loyalty more difficult for retailers to maintain today than ever before?
Choice, choice. I mean, people have so many choices now, and then with the pandemic, they have so much time. So you got choice and you got time, and you have the internet at your disposal. Man, you can just shop for anything and everything, and in a matter of minutes, and find options. And so with that, and with the fact that people are looking to experience, brands differently, experience, change the way in which they shop for things or what they shop for. It's tough to keep them. It really is tough to keep consumers coming back for more without a real compelling reason.
Absolutely. What do you think consumers are expecting from loyalty programs for the remainder of 2020 and going into 21? And how has that evolved maybe over the last couple of years, and especially this year? How has that evolved?
Yeah, I think that they want value. They want value every time they shop. And I think that, again, with what we're dealing with the pandemic and the lockdowns and just the restrictions, they want it more now. They're not willing to wait for it. And I think a lot of that's been driven by the younger generations, X's, Z's, Y's, whatever the initials might be. They want what they want, and they're willing to pay for it. And they want it differently. And I think that's one of the reasons why subscription programs are so much on the rise. And not just, sorry, my dog's over here shaking, not just Netflix and Spotify and HelloFresh, and all the others, but, even Walmart Plus has jumped into the game, and I think they've gotten the attention of a lot of retailers out there in the space.
Absolutely. You kind of mentioned it a little bit, kind of the value that customers are seeing from premium loyalty programs, subscription loyalty programs. What is it that consumers value in these programs?
Um, they they want a superior experience. They want equity or cash back that can be used on their next shopping trip. They want it fast. They want convenience. They want free shipping on every order. I mean, having to pay for shipping now is just so taboo. I mean, people just cringe at it. We did a study earlier this year in association with Walker Sands, and found that 66% of consumers valued free shipping the most, and 60% of them listed like instant discounts and cash back as their second most coveted thing. So you combine that along with some experiential benefits, some softer benefits, things that provide more value, and consumers are just they're just eating it up. I mean, transactional benefits get people in the door. And if they get a great value proposition, it makes them feel smart about their decision. But you add the experiential benefits on there, and it just makes them then feel special, and it just changes and enhances the relationship, with the brand.
Absolutely. So you talked about some of the value they're expecting. How should brands be more cognizant, or why should brands be more cognizant of premium loyalty programs powering and motivating consumers? We talked about in the past some of the financial benefits, some of the kind of measurement opportunities they have. How should brands be more cognizant of a premium program and what it can do for them?
Yeah. Wow. It can do quite a bit. Our own, we have a client that we've worked with for a number of years, and they did the analysis and shared with us, and found that they saw a 40% increase in purchase frequency and a 24% increase in annual spend since working with us, of what customers did prior to the premium program and since joining the premium program. So that's pretty huge. Another thing, and if you don't want to just listen to what Clarus has to say about it, McKinsey released a findings of a study back on October 22nd around how paid loyalty programs can bring consumers back to a brand. And it revealed that 35% of United States consumers have tried a new brand since the crisis began, and are looking for other options. And I think when you put that in perspective, I know one other thing, that 77%, have also tried new shopping behaviors, including new channel stores and everything else. So when you put that together with what we're talking about, and it just shows that that brands rather have an opportunity now to really engage with consumers in a completely different way, a better way, a deeper way, by providing them with what they want, which is instant, immediate, value, and consumers are willing to pay for it. And that's the opportunity for the brand. In fact, Walmart Plus, they launched less than 2 months ago, and they claimed, at least a couple of weeks ago even, they claimed that they had 11% of Americans are already members of Walmart Plus, and it was like a $99 or so membership fee. Just think about that. It's just, and I know everyone's not Walmart or Amazon, but brands all have their unique characteristics and their unique customer set that they can provide an appealing value prop that if you don't want to kind of replace what you're doing, but want to add value to what you're doing, there are options out there. And that's why brands should consider it, just to get back into the question you asked.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one of the things we see from our membership, the brands that we have, is there is a challenge, understanding the customers right now. People who may be engaging with the loyalty program may not be a traditional customer. Some of the behavior may not be in sync to what it was in the past. And there's kind of a fine balance of asking and kind of engaging, getting more zero-party data in this environment too. And it's good to hear that that's obviously a kind of avid, it's something that's an advantage of having a premium program.
Yeah, it's just, it's the relationships are just changing so much, and consumers' behaviors and channels and desires are just, it's just, things are quirky. And we talk about, getting back to normal. I don't know what the new normal is going to be, but it won't be what it was. It definitely won't be what it was. And if brands are looking to drive, one, to hold on to their customers, and then two, to drive, a deeper relationship, to drive cross-category spend, to appeal to new customers, they're going to need a new tool. They're going to need a different approach. And it doesn't always have to be premium. That's what we talk about. It's what we do. It's what we focus on at Clarus. But it needs to be something that is something that changes the dynamic and drives excitement and makes a customer or consumer want to be closer to the brand.
Absolutely. So, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but how can, traditional program and a premium program work together? There's a number of great examples. I'm sure you reference the theaters seem to do it pretty well when things are going well for them, right? But, how can traditional and premium programs work together?
Yeah. Well, it just, a lot of programs are, at least the good ones, aren't just a static, single layer, simplistic program. It's tiers, it's segments, there's those dynamic elements. Maybe it's differentiated one group from another. So when you think about how premium plays on that, there's usually a group of customers or members of a program who are elite, the top 10%, 20% or whatever, who do most of the spending or participation in the program. Those consumers are the right kind of target who maybe they want a better experience. Maybe they're willing to pay for a differentiated kind of experience, whether it's enhanced value proposition. Instead of getting 1 point per dollar or a penny per dollar spent, they can get 10 cents per dollar spent if they pay a fee. And instead of just redeeming for a gift card or whatever it might be, maybe they want to instead take a trip to HQ when travel is good again to meet with a designer. Or maybe there's a virtual symposium with the buyers that they can get, that they can be a part of and understand the new fashion trends, or maybe they can meet with a stylist. Just those kinds of things that just change it up. Because not everybody necessarily has to have cash back or want cash back. Some people just want status, and it's, so those are the kinds of things that can be added on to a free program as a premium tier, and you let people opt in. Or if there's a certain group you want to be in, you give them their first, 3 months free or whatever it might be to experience the program. It's, there's many ways of doing it. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Right.
And I think that's what, though that's the opportunity for brands to take that. Now is the time. Consumers are willing to try new things. They're willing to be forgiving, even if it doesn't work.
Right.
So now is the time to take that not even a risk, but to take advantage of the opportunity.
Excellent. You kind of talked a little bit, kind of understanding the customers. How can brands be more proactive about showing the value and kind of upgrading them into a premium program? And how do they even communicate that to the customer?
Yeah, it's well, again, we've been doing this for almost 20 years now, so it's kind of ingrained in us, and we think of it as like kind of obvious, not a duh, but it's just a way of doing it. But it has to be clear. It has to be a no-brainer kind of decision. It has to be communicated in a way that the consumer thinks, okay, they do the mental math, and they think, oh man, if I do this, I'm automatically going to get my, the money I paid to be a part of this program. I'm going to automatically get that back, just by joining. I mean, the join offer has to be obvious and valuable. Other ways, you can show them. Don't just tell them. Show them. A calculator, a video, whatever it might be, to show, hey, this is the value of this program. Because once they realize the value, and of course the value has to be real, they'll join. They'll at least try it, and that's what a lot of brands are. Packaged goods companies or whatever else. That's what they want. They want to get that trial, and once they get the trial, then it's upon the brand to deliver the right experience to get the consumer to come back a second time, for a repeat purchase or repeat visit. But the trial is the major hurdle.
Okay. So how can brands be more proactive to kind of show that value, but also to motivate members to get involved in the program and even to be evangelists, right? Because I think one of the things you've talked about in the past is, premium programs, since there's kind of that buy-in, you have to truly engage, to pay to be part of the program, right? To be willing to kind of put up some kind of cash or investment initially, there's kind of a different level of engagement there. How do you kind of get that to where they're being evangelists, right? Where they're proselytizing for the brand?
Well, yeah. First things first is they have to find value in it, right? I mean, so the the program and the brand has to ensure that the program is valuable enough that the member not only joins but wants to stay and wants to engage in it and really reap the rewards of being a premium program member. Obviously communications and those that's important to keep them aware and remind them of the benefits. Always optimizing the program, adding dynamic elements and excitement to ensure that the program stays meaningful, relevant, and interesting. So you do all those things, and if you do all those things right, then you might have the opportunity, especially with providing some unique opportunities and experiences to the members. You might have the opportunity to get them to become an evangelist for you. So yeah, there's work to be done. You can't just say, "Hey, join my program now, refer me some friends and family members," because it doesn't work that way. You have to earn the right to be referred. But one of the things that we did find though is that, in the study again that we did earlier this year, 2020 data study with Walker Sands, is that 89% of the respondents to the data study said they would recommend a retailer to family or friends if the premium program provided the value and the benefits that it promised. So it's it's important, and that's really true loyalty. I mean, that's really the holy grail that we marketers are looking for, to have someone who finds our product or service is so valuable that they're willing to tell their friends and family about it.
Okay. So you mentioned that in earlier that 88% of the respondents were likely to choose a retailer which had a membership program, which had a subscription or premium program, over a competitor that's kind of offering a lower price. Why such a high percentage, and why do you think that is?
Yeah, when a customer loves a brand, I mean, some brands people shop at, but some brands people love. I mean, you might, sometimes there's some people that cars are cars, but a BMW or a Mercedes or a Tesla or Cadillac, whatever is
Ford F-150, maybe.
Yeah, it's your jam. Me, I'm a GMC guy. I'm a Yukon guy. I'm on Yukon number 3.
There you go.
I just love those things. They work for me. They fit me. I fit them. It works out well. So I mean, that's my kind of thing. I mean, Harley Davidson, people want to tattoo, Harley Davidson on their bodies. I don't get it, but it is what it is. But when a customer loves a brand and has a rewarding and reciprocal relationship with that brand, it's kind of always top of mind. And then when you add in the premium element, that makes it an even better experience, a superior experience, better value proposition, more benefits, more access. And the fact that, mentally there's that thing too. If I'm paying for it, I want to prove that it's worth it. And so I'm going to tell people about it, so there's all that goes into it. And that's probably why that so many, such a high percentage of premium loyalty members are willing to be evangelists.
Okay. One of the things I read in the paper as well, that millennials are the ones that brands should be considering or kind of looking out for with regard to premium or subscription programs. Why is that?
I mean, these guys are a couple of things. One, they want instant gratification. I mean, as we know, we know our kids, they're not accustomed to waiting around for things. They're not the most patient group. And, and they have access to so much information that they know that things could happen differently, better, quicker, so yeah, so that's one reason. And they have a lot of buying power. I mean, they have a tremendous amount of buying power. In fact, when we, again, in the survey, 74% of the millennial responders said they plan to join another loyalty program and get another subscription service. I mean, they eat up subscription services. I mean, I think between my girls, I mean, they're in Disney, they've got Hulu, they've got Disney Plus, they've got, they're They've got all manner of subscriptions with the boxes and all these other things, and they just that's just their thing. They want to pay for the things they really value, and because they want to get instant access and they want it to be exactly like they want it. Okay. So millennials, they're driving it, but they're not the only ones. We old folks are doing things differently too, and subscribing to things and paying for services that we didn't traditionally pay for.
Absolutely. I think the survey, as you mentioned, it was conducted at the onset of the pandemic, should I say. With that backdrop, how do you think things may have changed with regard to some things respondents may have said or would be saying now if you were going to do the survey at this point in time?
Yeah, I think the numbers might even be more extreme. I mean, you heard from some of the numbers that I shared with you earlier. I think that, that COVID has made these decisions or these opinions of more drastic. One of the things that we saw as we originally hit the lockdown period back, starting in March, but April, May, June, July, our clients' program enrollment velocity increased tremendously, 20%, 30%. It was just amazing all the way through July, and then it started to level out and come back down a little bit. But still, year over year, it's higher than it was, in 2019, because, it's just a new world. It's just kind of a new world order. And I think if we take the survey or do the survey again, if we had done it in the midst of that, we would have seen some crazy numbers that we would have been hard pressed to try to explain. But I think one of the things that we also have seen is that there's still been an onslaught of new premium or subscription programs that people wanted to be a part of. And I think one of the things that really now has caught people's attention, which is not like we didn't know it, but Walmart Plus coming out in September and having the amazing numbers that they have. And I just don't think I don't think that we're going to go back from this. I think that if a brand isn't looking for the option or how to incorporate the option or test a premium loyalty program, they're probably missing out.
Okay. And the last question I have for you is if a brand is considering launching a premium loyalty program or adding that to their current loyalty offering, what is one mistake they may be making, or even a better question, what is one thing they should be considering when looking to do that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to it. We didn't start off knowing all that we know about premium loyalty programs, especially the billing component, the monetization of the programs, how to make sure that the revenues from the member fees are managed appropriately to cover the program administration and the platform and the rewards and everything else. I mean, there's an art to it. So there's many things that they, I don't know if there's one common thing except, do your due diligence, run the numbers, make sure you have a solid hold of the numbers, because, the value proposition has to be good enough to capture the attention and get members engaged and to keep them engaged. But if, it can't be too good where you're upside down and the program is costing you, more money than you can afford. The beautiful thing about it is in a premium program, if done correctly, is that it pays for itself if there's any amount of investment much more quickly than a traditional program that a brand may outlay hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars just to launch it. Right, so anyway, that's kind of my advice. Just do your due diligence.
That's awesome. Well, I think this has been very informational. It was great to hear about what you're seeing as we kind of wrap up 2020, and also kind of the results of the survey. I think were very interesting as well. especially for those who are considering this. I know many of our brands are looking at ways to kind of change their program, some of the restraints or constraints that they saw during COVID. So hopefully this is something they consider and use the market leader, which is Clarus Commerce, to help them achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're willing to answer any questions, no pressure, anything to help people out. And that's, and I know we're wrapping up. Our time is up. One of the things one of the things I've kind of noticed, but I want to get your opinion on it, Mark. You talk to a lot of brands out there. Is how do you think brands are approaching this holiday season? It seems a bit different than any that I can recall in my professional life.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of constraint right now, concern. We have small siding meetings usually once a week with marketers. We have 100 and some brands that are members right now, and they're challenged. I think that they want to drive sales, but they want to have empathy. And I think I mentioned earlier, a lot of people, we're seeing very high engagement at the top levels, whether it's from a Shell to Famous Footwear. But some of them are challenged with regard to just understanding their customers, and they want to have that empathy, right? They want to make sure that they're not pushing people to buy products or services that they may want or may not be able to afford. And I think another thing we're seeing too is there's a big challenge in kind of tier management, which is somewhat kind of off topic. But if I have these groups that have been in the top tier for the longest time, and maybe they're not hitting that right now, why is that? And how do I get to understanding what those challenges are? And then, how do I extend the tier for them a year going forward? Do I give them some special program over 2 months where they have to buy a percentage of a product to engage? And I think that's a big thing that they're really challenged with right now is just the communication cadence. Obviously personalization, some things that you offer are very important, but how do you do it in a kind of very sublime and empathetic way is some things we're seeing.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I appreciate that insight.
Absolutely. Well, Carlos, it was great talking to you as always. Looking forward to catching up again and soon. And thanks for everyone for listening. And tune in for our great sessions next week, but also the virtual event as well, Carlos. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks again, everyone. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Talk to you soon.